What is up, everyone? This is BigPowner. I had a good question from a newer player, which there's, lots of new players, and this is a question that is an excellent question. This is from McDonald's. It's like you change the one of the D at the end to a couple extra L's, and you make it like a Mick, like an Irish person, but not a Mick like me because I'm an MC. Literally. Throwing a little bit of rhymes in there, making fun of my own last name. Can't get mad at me for being racist because I'm making fun of myself. um, the best type of hate is self-directed. I'm just being funny. I don't hate anyone. Um, I was taught to love. I was taught to love everyone, even when they're not very nice. um, so the question was, what to spend my currency on? I'm new. What's going to be the most helpful? I'm gonna start by buying points. I'm gonna tell you how I do it. I'm gonna tell you why I do it, and then I'm gonna tell you, advantages, disadvantages. So when we go to buy points, we can just do this basic buy points. I don't do this, and why do I not do this? Because I can buy league-specific supporter packs, and for 60 bucks, I get 550 coins, and then I get a bunch of cool shit. And for 50 coins, I will take that cool shit. That's the easiest way to put it. I get a whole set of armor. And every league is different. Like sometimes you get pets. There's usually like weapon effects, auras. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like a lot of stuff I wear is like supporter pack stuff. I have some random buy stuff in there, mixed in there, but I think it's cool to have the supporter packs. And I support this game because I like it and I like how this game is designed. This is how games should be designed. And this is going to be a quick explanation of what a good game is and a bad game is and why I support this game. Um, Bad games and what has made me really sad about gaming is because there was a trend that started where it's basically pay to play, and pay to win. And unfortunately, a lot of people's first experiences were with these types of games, and they're basically designed to like get people addicted and just suck money out of them. And those types of games are horrible, and they have given gaming a bad name, and they have just been a horrible introduction to gaming. And you should never support those games because when you support one of those games, even if it's fun, if it's addicting, um, don't do it. As soon as you realize the game is pay to play, pay to win, immediately get away from that game because when those games are making money, it makes gaming companies start targeting games that way, which is shitty for us as gamers. Um, but it also gives us a reason when gaming companies are making really good games and doing them right, we should support those companies if we're enjoying the game. Something I really like about this game is anyone can play it for free. There are some people out there that maybe can't afford a $50, $60 game, and this game is amazing. This game, I'm not playing it because it was free. I'm not playing it because I'm playing this game because this game is awesome. And my example of why this game is awesome is I used to be a Diablo player, and I started in the 90s playing Diablo with the first Diablo, and I loved the franchise. And you know what? That franchise went to shit. And to give you an example of how much better this game is, and the reason why it's going to wind up taking all of the people that are playing Diablo away if they try this game, it's this simple. This season, we had a seasonal update, and the expansion was what you can basically think of it as, is bigger just on the league mechanic or the new Conqueror expansion than like the expansions that Diablo would release after years. And the thing is GGG for PoE releases these multiple times a year seasonally, and that is awesome. And they don't charge you for that expansion, which is awesome because there's players that can't. And PoE 2 is going to let you keep all of your stuff. All of these purchases are going to transfer to PoE 2. You're going to have access to all your stuff in standard, although If you wind up playing like me, you'll only play leagues because you want to play the new stuff, and you don't mind restarting because that's part of the fun for me. Um, but maybe you will. I mean, maybe eventually I'll go create some crazy stuff. I always keep my best gear and stuff like that from each season, and I mark them in special tabs. And the cool thing is, since, you know, if you're watching this video and you're wanting to know my input on these, your tabs, they get sent to standard, and then when you start a new league, all of those tabs are fresh, and you get to use them all over again. All of your stuff is saved in standard. It's basically like anything that you get for the game, you have both in standard and brand new in every league, and you never have to rebuy it. And when they release PoE 2, everything that you bought, you'll have in the new game. And you know, when the league does end, I'll do a video on what happens to all of your stuff, but I'm not going to go into that now because this is focused on buying stuff. So, um, if you're like me and you want some cool shit, along with your coin purchase, you're gonna get one of these packs. Something I'll tell you about these packs is, you know, say I only want to spend 30 bucks to start out. Maybe I'm a new player and I'm not sure if I want to spend 60 bucks, but I'm enjoying the game, so I want to support them with 30 bucks. Um, if you decide to spend, you want to spend more, you can upgrade the pack. So if you start with this pack and you decide you want to go ahead and get this pack, you will get all of the stuff in this pack for another $30, and you will get the coin upgrade, so another 300 coins. That's how they've worked every season. Now I just buy them. Every season I'll get at least a supporter pack. I like the league specific ones. That's kind of my thing. We also got some cool new ones up here. Um, but the other choice is, you know, I don't care at all about how I look. I don't want any of the cool shit. I just want the most amount of points. You can do that too. But I'm gonna guess most people want some cool shit. So that's what I'm gonna base it around. Obviously, you know, you can adjust your coinage, but I'm gonna give two examples based off of 250 coins or 550 coins, which you could obviously buy in those increments. So, something else that you should be aware of. GGG always does sales. The sales rotate, so right now we have a sale for the stash tabs. The stash tabs are the only thing that will actually affect you in game. They don't make your character any more powerful, and that's one of the great things about the game. It's not pay to win. It does make life for you a little bit easier because these are tools that, you know, can make you organizing stuff easier. It just makes your life easier. So if I have 250 coins and I have nothing else, what are the most important things for me to get? First of all, if I only have 250 coins, I want the most inventory space for the best price. The best price is to get a 6-pack of premium stash tab bundles, of the premium stash tab bundle. The other thing that you're going to get if you only have 250 coins is a currency stash tab. Why? Because it will save you the most space. So I'm going to demonstrate these two things. The cool thing about this would be a 6 size stash tab. We'll use this one because it's got some space. We can put these to public and then individually price items. So like say I want to sell this, I would just go exact price and it's going to be 40 chaos or whatever I want to sell it for. And then I just click it and it's automatically listed for sale. So that's what makes having premium stash tabs really, really advantageous. Now I need to change this off of that and fix that. I don't want my personal stash tab listed. So that's important, and you get about 10% more stash tab space versus buying a quad stash tab for the price. Quad stash tabs are useful, but if we're at 250 coins, we want the currency stash tab, and we want a 6-pack of these because it gives us the most space. And the thing is I like having some of the small ones, I like having some of the big ones, so it's not going to be something you're going to regret. You might not want to buy all little ones, but that's if you get down the road and you start wanting to buy more. The reason why the currency stash tab is the most valuable is because, first of all, a lot of these small currencies, if we have these all and we were not to have this stash tab, they will all add up to taking up a ton of stash tab space. I mean, simply put, they're going to wind up using more stash tab space then you know you could buy stash tabs for it, which that's what makes it really valuable. On top of that, we have these small stash, all of these bottom ones. So we have 14 of these, and each one of these will hold a stack of up to 5,000 items, just like all of the other ones that have designated things that go in them, which they can hold 5,000. So I mean, obviously you can see I haven't even used up all the oils in one, and obviously that's going to be like a whole stash tab by itself. And we can put, you know, stacks of divination cards. We can put anything in here. So those are going to be your first two purchases. If you're going to go, now moving on, if you're going to go for the 550 pack, you have 550 coins. We're still going to buy those two things for the 225 coins, but now we're going to be spending the other 325 coins. So moving into the 325, there's one thing that is going to be really, really useful to you, and that is the map stash tab. Why is the map stash tab so valuable? The map stash tab, first of all, we don't want to be throwing away maps. The reason why is because the further you progress on, and once you get to the higher levels, having a bunch of maps is super advantageous for targeted farming, which eventually I'm going to get into, you know, really high yield map farming, which having a bunch of maps to do that is very advantageous. To give you an idea, I'm probably ahead of the curve. I have a couple thousand maps, so obviously these do not stack. If I were to, and each one of the map tabs can hold 72 maps, and you got to think with the way the new Atlas works, you know, we have 154 maps, and we can hold 72 of each of those. That's, you know, a ton. That's like over 10,000 maps we can hold inside of our stash tab, and then that's just counting one at 72 each, and then you have to think we can have them at 4 different levels. So like we can hold over like 40,000 maps inside of our map stash tab. That's pretty crazy. So I would definitely buy that. And on your second set of stuff to buy, I'm definitely going to recommend that. So that puts us at 205 remaining. So we want some of these other stash tabs. 205 remaining. The next most valuable thing is going to be the fragment stash tab, so we're going to get that. So we have 160 left. So we are going to get a premium quad stash tab, and then with our 30 remaining, we are going to get, wait, 160, our 40 remaining. You can choose between divination, essence, or delve. Delve is going to be the least valuable, so it's kind of between divination or essence stash tab. I'm going to say go with divination, and the reason why is because with the essences, the essences tab is super valuable because first of all you can just like upgrade like this, like I want to upgrade these, upgrade them. It holds all your stuff, and it gives you 3 spots to hold up to 5,000, a stack of 5,000 items. So that makes it really valuable. The other choice is the divination. What's really nice about the divination, especially as a newer player, first of all, it's super cool to be able to just throw in all the stuff, all your divination cards, and then there's no guessing whether you have enough of them. You can switch it, like I had it on full stacks, but I can switch to full stacks, and then I can also search for the divination card. Like say I find out, oh, I need 6 link. Hey, look, all my 6 links. Bam, 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 bam. I got all my 6 links. Bam. You know what I'm saying? It's super valuable. It saves you a ton of time if you're actually doing stuff with stash, with divination cards. And as a new player that might not know, because this is going to be useful, that can be really useful. So we know what we're going to get if we get the 250. We know what we're going to get if we get the 550. What comes after that? Collectibles is kind of one of the more expensive ones. I believe it's on sale 110. So it's not the cheapest thing. But outside, well, let me just say this. Once you start spending more, past this point, I would basically recommend you get one of each one of the things. Like, the delve is the least useful one, and why is that? It's also the cheapest one. But why is it the least useful one? It's because it used to be super valuable because you used to not be able to stack resonators. So, like, they would take up a ton of space. But realistically, I probably have more fossils than most people. So, I mean, it's not going to take up a ton of space. And the thing is you're either farming fossils to sell them, or you're saving them to craft with, which, if you're saving them to craft with, I mean, you're not going to wind up with a ridiculous amount. Most players aren't going to wind up with multiple stash tabs full of fossils. Um, it's just not going to happen. You're probably either going to sell them or you're going to use them to try to craft. So, I would say that's the least valuable, but it is only 30 coins. So, eventually I would probably just buy it because it's pretty cool and you can use it to craft in. And you know, you put your bases in here and then you craft on them. Um, so yeah, I mean, eventually worthwhile. Collectible stash tab. It's 110, but the thing is it gives us so much stuff that we can hold. Like, I mean, I haven't even been great about picking up collecting one piece of everything. I normally do that every season, and why is that? Because if I start another character, I need something like a flask, amulet. I start a new character and I want to gear it with some stuff. I want to save character for a gear. I mean, it's all held in here. I don't have to have it randomly scattered through inventories, or I don't have to worry about it. I can have one of every single rare thing, including maps, jewels, flasks, everything. I can save one in here. And what I do is, you know, if I get something new, I can replace it. If I know it's complete garbage, which as you get further into the game, you'll start realizing there's absolutely no time I'm going to use this unique, so I'm not even going to pick it up because it's crap. But when you're newer, you don't know that. So being able to hold one of those things can possibly wind up coming into super useful into super use in the future. So this is something to consider later. However, as you spend more on stash tabs, the main thing that you're going to want to be getting is just more stash tabs. Premium stash tabs, um, to a certain point, are really good. I like to use them for like some things, and then the premium quad stash tab is nice. You get, like, for the price, you get about 10% less actual space. But the nice thing is it limits the amount of scrolling that you have to do. Where are some of my big ones? So I have like some big ones, and then I keep some big ones for dump tabs close to here. Um, I use them for different things. Like I have, you know, for instance, down here I've got like stuff I absolutely don't want to sell. It's like, you know, I got something that's really good and I might want to do something with it later. Like a +3 staff, +1 to socketed gems, +2 to socketed cold gems, and spells used by traps have 30%, 37% increased effect. That sounds dope. Um, so I probably don't want to just throw that away because I might want to try to craft something crazy with this. And you know, something like this dropping, it's probably not even able to be. Yeah, it says it's worth like 15 to 25 KS. Most people aren't even going to be looking for something like this, but could this make a super crazy weapon? Yes. So am I going to throw it away or lose it? No. So I've got some stuff. I mean, this naturally dropped with a high roll on a tier 2 crit, and it's got plus socketed support gems, and a tier 1 armor and evasion dual mod. It's possible I might want to do something with this, so I have that in there. I have some bases, you know, top tier bases, TT bases, stuff I might wind up crafting with. So I've got a little stash tab for that. Like, obviously this is a hunter's bow that's a 6 link that I used for a little while, and then I was going to sell it, but its estimated value is only 7 to 11 exalts, and I'm just like, for 7 to 11 exalts, I'd rather just keep it to craft something else in the future than having to buy one and 6 link it. I'm just really, really lazy. Um, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna wind up wanting to craft another thicket bow, so I'm just not gonna sell it because I'd wind up selling it getting my 7 to 11 exalts, and then later on I'd have to buy a base and then resocket it, and that would waste a bunch of time, and then I'd be like, man, I should have kept that because the currency wasn't worth it. Yeah. So that is why I do that is why I like some of those tabs. This is kind of like, so early on in the game, I use my small tabs just to like throw in a bunch of crap because I know I'm not going to collect a lot of small stuff. I just want to get a little bit of currency early, but I know this stuff's going to devalue and be crap. Like you can see how crappy this stuff is. And it's priced like really low, but that's because it's like beginning of the league stuff. I need to go through and throw all this away, but obviously I'm not going to fill up a quad stash tab of a bunch of crap that I know in like 3 days is going to be 100% useless and no one's going to buy it. Um, so you'll figure out what you like for what. One other thing I like to use small ones for is like, my bow build. I saved all my level 20 gems and alt gems and stuff like that. And I didn't need a quad tab for that. I mean, you can see I've used it as extra fill space for guardian maps and synthesis maps and even my catalysts, and there would have been no point in using a quad tab for that. It just wouldn't be very efficient. So that's why I do that. But now you have my advice on what to buy, what is most useful, and why each thing is useful and what the uses actually are. And one little tip I will also give to you is I've been telling you guys to use the PoE trade macro. One of the cool things about the PoE trade macro, if you haven't figured it out yet, normally you have to scroll over this and hit control to scroll on this. If you have the PoE trade macro, you can hit control and scroll from anywhere, which is nice because say I'm putting away items and I'm like on my maps, and I put away all my maps, and then I'm like, I want to go to essences. So I click over one, and I don't even have to move my mouse over. It just makes it more efficient. And that's why I keep, map, essence, divination, fragments, and currency all close to each other. So when I'm emptying my inventory, I can go from one thing and just, go back and forth between whichever one I want to use. So yeah, that's how I itemize my inventory. Technically, the best way to itemize it, because there's a glitch, is to position your currency at the very end, because there's a glitch that will cause your stash tab to move to the very end, and it won't let you spend currency from your stash tab unless it is hovered over it. This is a really stupid glitch, and I don't have mine set up that way because I have a lot of stuff to scroll through, because I have a lot of stash tabs. So to scroll less, which you can also do a click down and go directly to something, but I don't like doing that. That's why I position I try to centralize the main place where I like to sit so that I have quicker access either way. Anyways, I hope this advice helps you guys, and helps you make decisions on what's going to be best for you guys. Peace.